One-on-one, never lost. Went to the finals, never lost.
You never got there, Lamar.
Who?
You.
I've been a one-on-one champ. Never lost one-on-one.
All right.
Back at it again, Cigar Spencer. You know what time it is. It's time for the most intriguing games of the week. This time it's the regional round. Yes, sir. We are in round 3 of the playoffs. Before we get into the most intriguing games of the week, we got to take a look at the top 10 plays and players from the previous week. So at number 10, Jalen Hill, Longview. 4 catches, 103 yards, 1 touchdown, and a big 38-17 win over Frisco Lone Star. Of course, Jalen, you know, as explosive as he is, the 4-star, 5-star receiver committed to Alabama, broke the game wide open in the third quarter with a big, explosive 77-yard touchdown, and that kind of just propelled Longview into the next round. So at number 10, Jalen Hill. At number 9, Connor Cuff, Carthage, 16-25, 246 yards and 2 touchdowns, and a 61-30 win over Van Alstyne. Connor Cuff is the he's more than a game manager, but he does a really good job of managing the game, if that makes sense. Everything is under control with Connor. He is a very accurate football passer. He's got some great receivers to throw it to, and he just continues to lead Carthage on this undefeated season that they've been having, making the right decisions. They really broke that game wide open. Van Alstyne scored all their points late probably against some JV players. But no, it was at a touch that was out of hand from the jump, and the real reason is because of the quarterback, Connor Cuff, coming in here at number 9. It's Trevor Brooks from Chapel Hill. 7 tackles, 3 for loss, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 interception. A busy night in a 38-24 win over Bay City past Friday for Trevor Brooks, a young sophomore. Flashed all over the field, made great plays, caught a great tip interception, was under the pile for a fumble recovery, made a lot of tackles, even had a sack. That's the kind of effort you need in playoffs from players, and especially from young sophomores like Trevor Brooks. So Trevor Brooks at number 8. At number 7 is teammate Demetrius Brisbane, 8 for 13, 172 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, and then also added 82 yards on 12 carries as well for the Chapel Hill Bulldogs. Brisbane doing it again by any means necessary, moving the ball with his legs, picking up key first downs, getting the ball to his receivers, giving them the opportunity to make plays. Couple of different new names made plays for him this week. As you saw, a couple of new receivers making touchdowns this week for Chapel Hill. But that's, the makings of good offenses. Can you get the ball to guys who aren't even your main guys? And so guys made big plays for Brisbane, and he's sitting here at number 7. At number 6, Andon Mata, West Rusk, 14-25 for 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, also added 44 yards on 5 carries, and a 41-37 win over Wascom. And he broke the game wide open, throwing it early to Jeremiah Smith for a 92-yard touchdown. And that kind of just set the tone of what kind of back-and-forth game it would be. Wascom, very tough run game. They came out ready to play. And West Rusk just answered every single time. Got down early, and they didn't panic. They just kept hitting and dialing up the right plays, and they got a great senior leader in Andon Mata as he comes in here at number 6. At number 5, Jakevian Curry of Longview had 2 key interceptions in a 38-17 win over Frisco Lone Star. They just played a really great game for a corner, took advantage of an opportunity, went out and caught a fade ball that was overthrown, and he just laid out and caught it, and then he dropped back in cover 2 and made a great play, anticipating the pass and turning the ball game over. So a great game for Curry, 2 key interceptions that keeps Longview in the playoffs going into round 3 against Port Arthur Memorial. At number 4, Jeremiah Smith from West Rusk, 7 catches, 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jeremiah Smith was the rocket for Andon Mata, and he made his presence early in the game, scoring their first touchdown coming from a long way. He also had a 50-yard touchdown later in the game. Having that kind of speed, he's a great jet jet sweep runner and also a tunnel screen kind of guy too. So Jeremiah Smith, a big weapon, and showed it off against Wascom. At number 3, Ricky Stewart, Chapel Hill, 28 carries, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had a 14-yard touchdown reception on the screen that was executed very well in the red zone there, as you can see on the screen. Ricky Stewart has been the rock of the offense. He's been the most consistent player on offense, continuously turning in 100, 200-yard performances, especially as of late, probably over the last month or so. And so they've been riding Ricky Stewart and with a sprinkle of Juice McGregor and Barry and Demetrius Brisbane. But it's been looking like the Ricky Stewart show, running behind that great offensive line out there in Chapel Hill. At number 2, Isaiah Ross of Kilgore, 20 carries, 216 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 catches, 33 yards and a touchdown, and a big 34-20 win over El Campo. Isaiah Ross is just, everything I just said about Ricky Stewart, you can say the exact same things for Isaiah Ross. Isaiah Ross is just a physical human being. He runs the ball to punish you, and he just has a knack for making big plays all game long. He's a punishing runner. Nobody wants to tackle him. I think I've said the exact same things about Isaiah Ross as I say it. Like, I've probably said this a million times about this kid, but he is going to lead Kilgore deep into a playoff run if Kilgore is to make it. But they've got a big game against Lindale this week. And the number one player this week is Taylor Tatum. 27 carries, 261 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 38-17 win over Frisco Lone Star. And Tatum just had an incredible performance. Started early. Big touchdown run, big long run in the first quarter to break the game open, and then he, did his thing in the second quarter and really all game long. Taylor and the offensive line produced for Longview. They just kind of rolled the run games, and then of course Jalen Hale broke it over the top. But Taylor Tatum, a phenomenal back with phenomenal speed and vision, and he's just a great player, and he just showed off who he is this past Friday. The number 1 player, Taylor Tatum. And with that, let's get into the top 10 plays of the week. And here we go, the top 10 plays of the week. 10 explosive plays. All of these are A+. So let's get right into it. Number 10, Chase Johnson heaving one up to Jakevian Rogers, a dime into the end zone, touchdown, Dangerfield. At number 9, it's Kilgore. It's Isaiah Ross, and this is his long touchdown against El Campo, running the zone. Gets a crease, great block from the offensive line, and he does the rest. It's a foot race. And Isaiah, he's probably not the best candidate to win all of these, but he tiptoes down that sideline, touchdown. The number 8 play, Rohan Flewellen, tossing this thing up. It gets tipped. Well, look at the concentration and the toe tap to get the feet inbound, touchdown, Gilmer. At number 7, it's that 92-yarder you've seen probably 2 or 3 times already, Jeremiah Smith going the distance against Wascom. At number 6, we got Jakevian Curry. Look at him lay out for that interception, an incredible catch, turnover for the Longview Lobos. At number 5, Connor Cuff. He's going to throw this thing up 45 yards to Noah Patty. Ooh-wee. Going on top shelf on the DB. At number 4, we got Rohan Flewellen. He's going to throw this fade ball up, and that's just a dime. That's a dime for a guy that's not a quarterback. That's insane. At number 3 is Jalen Borley, 98 yards kickoff return. And watch the big fella stride it out here. Now it's a foot race against Caddo Mills, and he's going to win that every single time. Touchdown, Borley. At number 2, it's Jalen Hale against Longview. Oh, no, not against Longview. Against Frisco Lone Star. Going up, catching the ball at the high point, stiff arm to the DB, and then doing the rest all by himself. Touchdown, Lobos. And the number 1 play, Brisbane's going to heave this thing up. And he's just going, oh, my gosh. I don't know if that's a Moss or if that's just a Debo. Give me that ball. Touchdown, Chapel Hill. That's insane. All right, let's get into it. The most intriguing games of the week. At number 7, TIMPSON versus Centerville. It's intriguing because it's Terry Bussey. This guy's the best player on the field every single week, and he just does incredible things every single week down there on the 2A level. Just continues to see this guy continue to rise above the competition. Centerville, the Tigers, don't know much about them. I don't know anything about them. Go Timpson. At number 6, West Rusk versus Harmony, 2 East Texas teams. One is not kind of a surprise. Didn't expect Harmony to make it this far, but here they are. They're consistently in the playoffs year in, year out, and they're looking to make a run. Playing this Thanksgiving holiday weekend, but they're going against Anamata and West Rusk, and I think West Rusk probably just has too much experience. The running back and linebacker Ty Harper, who's been incredible all year long, defensively and running the football. Anamata, of course, who's been lighting up the stat sheets for the last 2 years. Jeremiah Smith, who had a big play and big game last week. I think there's too much star power on the other side in West Rusk, and I think that they're going to get the job done against Harmony. And number 5, Dangerfield versus their arch nemesis, Newton. I don't know if you call him the arch nemesis, but Newton has had a thorn in the side of Dangerfield for a while. And there's some things that are concerning to me about Dangerfield. Didn't see an Aaron Hampton highlight. Didn't see a C.J. Gilbert highlight. Don't know, what happened to those guys. Dangerfield threw the ball to a lot of new receivers were on the field for him. So not sure what's going on in their health. Not going to say anything. Don't know anything. But that is concerning going into a game against Newton, who has Leighton Foster, who was their next big D1 prospect out of Newton. So if Dangerfield's at full strength, I'll go with them against anybody. But I don't know if they're at full strength. And if they're not, I don't know if they got enough to beat Newton. And number 4, Aubrey versus Pleasant Grove. And I don't know a thing about Aubrey, but I know Pleasant Grove is playing at a top-notch level defensively right now. Those guys are flying all over the field. You see Caden McFadden playing incredible. You see Jalen Borley with the kickoff return, but he's also a linebacker on defense. He's playing great. There's a little Landon Jackson's little brother, and I forgot his name, but he's going off and he's showing up everywhere, rushing the passer. Pleasant Grove is playing incredible defense. They know how to shorten the football game if they need to, and they're just this is familiar territory for this program. Give me Pleasant Grove against Aubrey. And number 3, Lindale versus Kilgore, district rival matchup. These two, a rematch. Kilgore won that match earlier. They kind of beat Lindale up. They ran the ball all over them. Has Lindale fixed their run defense? Are they going to, what Kilgore's going to do? They're going to turn around. They're going to give Isaiah Ross 25 to 30 times a game. You already know that. Are you going to be guys who are going to be good enough to, stand there and take the punches and fight back against Kilgore, who's going to try to run it at them? Lindale's going to try to do the same thing offensively. They got an incredible offensive line. Those guys they play really good football out there at Lindale up front, led by Casey Poe, who I think is a future Sunday player if he continues to progress the way that he's been progressing, who's now playing tackle. Will Hutchins at guard. Trey Masration is one of the best centers in East Texas. So, they can move the chains as well. They've been doing it by committee over there in Lindale. So it'll be interesting to see what adjustments have been made from game 1 to game 2. And was if Lindale's going to be able to match up with Kilgore physically on defense, as Isaiah Ross is going to try to bring it to funk every single play. At number 2, Longview versus Port Arthur Memorial in Lufkin this week. Longview just had an incredible game last week. Offensively, we ran it pretty good. Defensively, we got stops like we've been doing all year long, so it's been fun. Just to see the guys perform week in and week out. Memorial is as explosive as ever. Their quarterback, Davion Wilson, is one of the best athletes in not in East Texas, in the state of Texas. And they are very explosive. They've got a very explosive wide receiver. Very scary offensively in their skill game. You know me, no predictions here. You know how I'm affiliated, you know how I'm rocking. So no predictions here, but Lufkin and Longview in Lufkin versus Port Arthur Memorial round 3. Homecoming part 2. You know how we get down in the playoffs, Thanksgiving game. So y'all come out and support. And at number 1, who else would it be? Carthage and Gilmer, the Titans of East Texas, clashing once again. Gilmer, I don't know if they're at full strength. I don't know if Caden Tennyson is out. He dropped a sophomore highlight tape. Usually you wait to the end of the year. It was at the end of his year. I don't know. Rohan Flewellen subbed in at quarterback and made an impressive dime on one of his fades, and then the other one was kind of ugly, but this guy, with great concentration, made the catch anyway. I don't know against this Carthage defense, which is as good as they've ever been. Don't take into account that they gave up 30 last week. That game was out of hand. those guys weren't in. Carthage defensively has been crazy. They've been as good as they've ever been on defense this year statistically. So, man, this is a vaunting task for Gilmer, not coming into this game at full strength, and it doesn't bode well for me against this Carthage defense. You know, if Gilmer can force turnovers and get unorthodox touchdowns, then it'll be a great game for him. But if not, it could be a long. So. That's it, man. Those are the games of the week. The regional round, Thanksgiving football. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope y'all had a good one. Y'all check out one of these games. Check out East Texas as we continue to try to get as many teams as we can into the state championship. But we got to go through each other. It looks like, huh? Anyway, in the words of Stephen A. I'm out.